That's the other part of my body, but if you tell me, I'll put it somewhere else.
Do you want to hold it or do you want to?
Why don't we get up against that? If that's okay.
Oh, that's fine. I'm trying to learn to be free of it. It's according to which day you catch me. I am definitely, first and foremost, a writer. That's pretty much kind of who I am. I'm a community gardener. I am a artist. Really kind of newly discovered visual artist. I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, I'm a church member, I'm a community advocate. There's a whole lot of different sides to myself. So, well, I was invited to be a part of the Pathways Through the Dark writing program. Through that program was how I heard about the NAC. I had actually really never heard of the NAC until then. So through the Pathways program, and out of that program, I was asked to be guest curator for the Perceptions exhibit. My first time ever being a curator. So that was kind of exciting. But yeah, that's how I kind of found out about the NAC. And then I got hooked because there is like, the NAC felt like home for me, you know, so I'm hooked. From the minute I walked in the building, I just kind of felt like a kindred spirit. You know, the fact that they have artwork, they have the works of people's hands all over the place, just made me feel like I found home. For a long time, I think I've been just kind of drifting in the community, you know, doing a lot of community things, doing a lot of gardening and, you know, things that are not necessarily visual arts. And when I walk through this door, every inch of the building speaks artist. I'm an artist from my head to my toe. I was excited. I mean, every piece of something on the wall, every room I went into had something that I could relate to. There is self-talk for me all day long in order for me to be able to go outside my door, because there are a lot of things that I can't see. I'm a kind of a blessed sighted person that I do have some sight, but things for me take a longer time. There's never really a time where I just say, okay, I'm gonna get up and say, I'm gonna go downtown. It's not quite that. I have to think in terms of what is gonna be my best route as far as sight-wise. I put my shirt, my pants all together. Sometimes I hang my earrings in a little Ziploc bag so that I won't think that I got purple earrings on and I actually got a pair of brown earrings on. It's you think in self-talk all day. The whole complete day. I catch paratransit. I actually looked at how to catch a lot of my trips here to the NAC was really for all day, you know, so I can make sure that I had time to do everything that needed to be done. So there's never really like a time where, like I said, I just get up and say, oh, I think I'm gonna go to the NAC. I wish I could, but you know, I can't. But I'm blessed to have paratransit has allowed me to go places I wouldn't even consider going. And it allows other blind people an opportunity to get places safely because they pick you up from your door and they drop you back off. I then had to go back and look and see what a curator is. I went on Google to see what a curator is and what the curator does. One of the things that I was told was to make sure I got a feel for the room. And I usually do that anywhere I go. I wanted to make sure I had a feel for the room. And again, this is a place that could easily hook you in. I could easily bring my pillow and blankets and sleep here in this place because there's little pockets here of this, there's little pockets of it. Even in this room where this exhibit is, and there's not a lot of places in Buffalo that I've found that has all of what the NAC has. I mean, you may go to a gallery and you see this, and then you have to go to another gallery and see that, but this was like a one-stop shop. And so I have to tell myself, I'm not a gallery, I'm not a NAC employee. And I even brought my granddaughter here. My granddaughter who's kind of like a bookworm. She's quiet, she's anxious. I knew that when she walked through these doors, she would find home. Especially as a writer, sometimes we're the weird people. We're the kind of quiet folks over in the corner, looking kind of weird because we're always, doing the writing, we're always painting or whatever. But here, you're with other quote unquote weird people. I mean, like we're the norm. And so that's what drew me. And that's one of the things that I tell other people. You got to come here. I can't describe it to you. You have to come here. And I think that once you come here and you see everything, I mean, there's something going on in every corner of the earth in this building. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So, I tell people to come, and there's going to be something that you're going to get hooked on. It was like a breath. Now, once the artwork and the photography and stuff started coming in, I brought my family. My daughter came with me, my granddaughter came with me, and I just started seeing what would kind of fit where. And that was like a, kind of like a challenge until I could tell myself to just breathe. And I changed this room around so many times, it was ridiculous. So Perceptions is an exhibit of artists who are legally blind, who are on the blind spectrum, who've been impacted by blindness. I think that makes Perception stand out is that you get an opportunity to see the world from our perspective. And by our, I mean from the perspective of people who have varying sights. And I don't think that that's something that's been promoted. And I really don't think that that's something that blind or impaired artists, I didn't know. After I said, yeah, I was like, oh, what did I get? My goodness, what did I get myself into? What is a curator? And really, a curator is just a person who gathers art and artists and allow them an opportunity to have a space where other people can see their passion. It was challenging. It was very, very, very challenging. With my sight, it was learning as I went. A part of what I felt at first was being kind of thrown in a pool. Here's the pool. Go ahead and swim. And that went from, oh, I can do this. It's important for me to let people know who don't think that they can do certain things. Yeah, you can. There is no. You can. You just have to learn a different way. I got an opportunity to kind of come into the studio and read poetry. I'm sure I wore your ears out because I write so much, and then I found someone who would listen. And you were kind of like, oh my God, he'll listen. I'm just going to burn his ear out. And so you and I talked, and I did some poetry. And from what I understand, Sid heard some of my poetry. Sid is my old high school English teacher. And little did I know that he was your high school English teacher also. And so I think Sid reached out to you to find out if I was the Geraldine that he knew, because I've always been a writer. The one thing that have always stood out about me, because it's who I am, is that I write. And so Sid knew me as Geraldine the writer. And I remember getting off the elevator, and I was really kind of getting off that elevator a little kind of discouraged. I was kind of discouraged, saying to myself, I don't know what I'm doing with this whole curating thing. And then there was you with this big grin on your face and saying Sid. And I was like, the only Sid I know is Sid Krupkin. You couldn't possibly be talking about Sid Krupkin. And you were. What a gift for me that was. It really allowed me to hold my head up a little bit more. Sid was the teacher. I was a teenager trying to find my way. I was a little weird girl, who always wanted to write poetry while everybody else was doing, whatever. Sid was the person that affirmed me as a writer. at a time when I was not really supported in my home environment or my community environment. Writing fought to stay a piece of me, and Sid was the person that made it okay. It was okay with Sid. And if it was okay with Sid, it was okay with Geraldine. And then to find out that you were impacted by Sid also was just. And the day we surprised him in the the cafe downstairs was just, it was priceless. It was priceless.
Yeah.
And we all had done some teaching. We left Sid's tutelage and became teachers in our, in our own right. So I'm hoping that, it affirmed for him that he did the right, he did something. Because sometimes when you teach, you don't know whether you got through or not, or whether it's, and it was. So I would say that this is a place that is well worth, I call it sewing into. You can believe that the NAC and their staff, I call it make a dollar holler, because if you give them $1, they're going to get $5 worth out of it. That's one thing that I've learned. It's $1 well spent. And the people who actually walk through this door are not even reflective of the number of people that are impacted. I know I was impacted. I went home and told my granddaughter who came. She told her mom, and I told her mom who came. She's told the people that are in her school. With me today is a friend of mine. We've been friends for probably at least 20 years. And I've told her, you just gotta, even if you don't come in the room and see my exhibit, you gotta come see this place. So if you are a person that's contributing to this place, I would suggest that you also come and see, because words can't tell you what you're supporting. You have to come and see it. There's millions of things that's going on in here. And like I said, your $1, I know Kelly and the group will, they'll every inch of that dollar is gonna go back into this place. So it's sewing into lives. And I think that it's also, for me, I always think of the arts as not this creative thing. It doesn't have to be just this little creative thing. It's a life skill. And I think that people who are allowed to come through these doors and see something like an art exhibit, see something like a photograph exhibit, see things like a sculpture, it gives you an alternative. Instead of picking up a gun, picking up a knife, picking your fist up, come create.